So we talked a little bit before about my down in K Corp.
Yeah.
So when I had this therapy in 2022, I was just keeping myself afloat, but my therapist told me at some point that I should go and make a neuropsychological evaluation.
Okay.
I know the Swedish word. I don't know the exact English word, but basically the therapist told me that there might be underlying issues that I need to figure out.
Yeah.
So 2023 starts. I don't have time to make this evaluation, but I get the bench from Fnatic and I go back to Sweden. I'm thinking this is a perfect time to do this, so I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And I make the whole thing, and in September I get my diagnosis.
What did you say? So you did some tests?
Yeah, some tests, and I talked to her about my childhood and how I was when I was younger and how things are going now.
Yeah.
And I meet a doctor and he talks to me, and in September I get my diagnosis. I have high functioning autism, or I'm on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
Before you would call it Asperger's, but you do not call it this anymore because he has some bad history. So you do not use that word anymore. You call it just being on the autism spectrum. And my first instinct was, oh my God, my life is over. Because it sounds so negative when you get told from your therapist that you need to do this, and then you get the diagnosis. I'm thinking like my life is over. But actually, after getting the diagnosis, my life has just been better. Straight up, just better.
Things make sense more?
Yeah, because now I understand why some things in the past did not work the way I wanted them to. And why, for example, I was really successful in Fnatic because I was in the same team every year with the same people in the same environment. This is perfect for someone with my diagnosis. But when I started changing team, new people every year, new situations to be in, this is not good for someone like me. So I understand why I was really successful in Fnatic and why I was not successful at all outside of Fnatic. So with this diagnosis now, I feel like I have a better understanding of the situations I should put myself in. And if I knew this, for example, 2020, when I made the choice to go to G2, I would have never made the choice. Not because going to G2 was bad for any other reasons, but because for me and someone with my diagnosis, it was not a good situation to put myself in. So I wish I knew sooner that I had this, but I'm also just happy that I know now, because from now on I feel like I can make my life much better. And I hope people can go past what I explained before, like this feeling of, oh my God, this is such a negative thing, because it sounds negative. But I hope everyone watching can just look past that and really think twice about what it really is. And for me, it really just is some kind of like understanding to things that are a little bit different from others, and help with tools how to make my life better. So I do not know how to explain it in the best way. I was actually thinking we could use ChatGPT maybe.
ChatGPT to describe what
to describe exactly what it is, because I feel like I'm not the right person to explain exactly what it is, exactly what it means. Yeah. So do you have ChatGPT?
Yeah, I can just log in, I think, right?
So maybe we could show on stream, so we get an exact good like explanation of what it is.
I've never used ChatGPT like this. This is crazy. What do we write then?
So just ask. You can
use ChatGPT?
Yeah. So you can just write, hey, could you explain for me what high functioning autism is, or in other words, Asperger's?
Is this like, did you figure out? Okay.
And then it gives you an exact explanation as to what it is. Now it's a bit longer than the one I got.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But I think good questions, for example, could be, what are the strengths of this diagnosis? What are the
difficulty
weaknesses?
Social interactions, trouble understanding social cues and body language, nonverbal communication. Many individuals with this have intense interest in specific topics.
That's the obsessive behavior I told you about before. Yeah. I wanted to explain you there and then, but I was thinking it's better to do it this way, the proper explanation. But this obsessive thing I had about paddle, and that I also have about League now for 14 years, comes from this. I have this.
So like the frustration of moving teams and feeling like uncomfortable or needing your routines, and then the hyperfixations, like everything's just kind of like the question's been answered. Yeah. Repetitive behaviors.
So I know, for example, from here on out, I should not change team unless I have to, because it's not good for me to change environment. So I should really be careful which situations I put myself in.
Changes or transitions. May struggle with unexpected changes or transitions in their environment, becoming anxious or upset when faced with familiar unexceptions or disruptions to their schedule. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
And the last part is, I think, what I meant earlier.
Yeah.
With the guys are going to bed late, and I need to just go to bed same time every day, wake up same time every day, eat the same time every day. Things just have to be that, or I freak out.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of a way to explain this on stream so everyone can understand, but I did not come up with anything better than if things get too much for me. Basically, if my glass of water goes over the edge, then I cannot take it away. I cannot empty the glass. I have to reboot. So basically it is as if your PC is blue screening. There's nothing wrong with the PC.
Okay.
But I just blue screen. And I give you the, sorry, I'm not working as I should, with a happy smile. And my whole day is finished. I cannot do anything. I have to go to bed and reset, reboot my PC. So the only way, if I have something bad happen, or I run out of energy, or my glass is too full, is I have to go to bed and start over. I cannot stop the feeling. I just have to reset. So I'm like a blue screened PC when something like this
like
last part, for example,
or like you just like shut down completely, like mentally, and you're just like, I need to reboot.
I cannot. So if something bad happens, I cannot drop it. Like even
you're
if I
like,
tell myself, drop it, I cannot. It's there and it's destroying my day. So I need to go to bed and reset, like a PC.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that like a lot of things are like answered, and the idea of like change and transitions being scary, like it's a reason for it, you know, like having that reason and like reassurance that it's like this is why it's happening, rather than you thinking like you're the problem. You're like, is it me? You know, it's like it's just a part of you, I guess.
I think the best feeling that came from it was before the diagnosis.
Yeah.
I always tried to be like everyone else and do what everyone else does. But after the diagnosis, I stopped trying. Do you understand what I mean?
So like you felt like you should be doing what they're doing and trying to like change you to be like them.
Yeah.
And then you realized it's not working and you just kind of like gave up. And then you realized.
Yeah, now it's more like, actually, there's nothing wrong with me, so to speak. This is just who I am. It's a part of me. So I should stop fighting it. If I feel good by waking up early and doing things this way, I should just learn how to communicate it and be better expressing why and how I want things to be, rather than waking up late as everyone else and doing what everyone else does. Because I think this was slowly killing me on the inside. So after the diagnosis, it's been much better just to accept that this is who I am, this is a part of me, I need things to be in a certain way, and the thing I need to do from this is not be stubborn and say, I only do things this way. Because even if that is the case, I think the most important part is just to communicate. First of all, why things are the way they are, and then how I want things to be, and give like pros and cons as to why I'm doing things this way, just so people understand better why I am.
Just communicating way better.
Yeah, just communicate better, So that's really what I've tried to take away from this. I'm really trying to study up on what the whole meaning of it is, what the strengths and weaknesses are, what I can do to make my days better. I'm reading some books about how to make my life quality better, what to think about, what to avoid. And I feel like the key point here is just to communicate with the people around me that, first of all, I have this diagnosis, and then second of all, what that means. And if I do not explain what that means, I feel like people might just think I'm weird. But if I explain what it means,
like you're doing things like intentionally in a way, right?
Yeah.
But if you explain it all, then
if I explain it all, I think it's no problem actually. And I have felt very supported in T1 with this, and they always help me. So in one of our first feedback meetings that we had, where they got to tell me what they think is going good and bad, and I got to tell them as well. I told them, for example, that I want the calendars to be detailed to the minute. This is the time we eat. This is the time we play. Because otherwise the schedule would be, there's scrims today, but not when. And that freaks me out. I need to know when everything is.
You need to know when the scrims are.
Yeah, exactly
blocks, when we're eating.
And I told them on a Wednesday and Thursday, the whole calendar was just filled with exact details. And that made me so happy. That made my life 100 times easier. So because all that stress and panic I had from before just disappeared.
Yeah, so you communicated it, and like they took it on board, fixed the problem, or like took your input and applied it.
Yep.
And then all your anxiety just disappeared.
Yeah, all disappeared. but that's how troubled it can make me. It can go really from I cannot do this, I cannot get the days to work, to oh, everything's great.
Yeah.
So I just need to learn. Crazy, I need to learn how to communicate my needs better. So that's really what I've been trying since the diagnosis, to just tell people around me, educate them, and be more communicative with what I need and how I see things, so they understand me and they do not think I'm coming from a bad place. Because I think over the years, people have seen and heard that I have problems, and I always thought it was like real problems. I'm weird, or I'm doing things with poor intention. But actually now, after the diagnosis, of course, it doesn't like take away bad things I've done, but it explains why they happened. And I think if I knew back then what I know now, I could have communicated better my needs. But back then I didn't know myself, so I wasn't able to communicate why I need things to be this way, or why I'm doing things this way. And then maybe there was some friction with teammates, or I think from here on out, basically things should be better, and that's the most important, that I live my life in a better way.
I mean, you didn't know that, right? You didn't know the full story, so you were just trying to like make compromises and accommodate, and like that only made you worse, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So once you finally figure it out, you can then just be more communicative.
And from here, not only should people around me then have a better understanding, but most importantly, I should have a better understanding as to why things are happening the way they are. And I should stop hammering on myself, you're doing it wrong. This self-hatred that's been inside me for so long feels easier to deal with now.
Because it's like answered.
Yeah, answered.
Yeah. Well, thanks
so that's
sharing,
that.
Bro. Like the chat was spamming.
Thank you for allowing me to share. That is the most important thing to say, I would like to believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge
Coming
deal.
Here and
that's
being able to
life-changing.
share.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I meant when I wrote the tweet, that when I was feeling really bad last year, you supported me a lot. And I kind of wanted to do this with you, just you, because I feel like we've already had similar discussions, so it would be easy to talk to you about this. So yeah, happy,
bro, you're always
happy
welcome.
that you gave me this.
You're always
chance.
welcome. Just knock on the door, come in. I'm always happy to have you on and like talk to you personally, and like on stream, or the rats I think also love you.
Yeah,
that's what they're called. You can just call them the rats. That's their name. They're always here.